Hey, I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack, broadcasting to you from beautiful Plymouth, Massachusetts, America's hometown. Thank you so much for joining us today. Looks a little overcast and almost like threatening rain out the studio windows. We don't have as much natural light as we usually do at 8 a.m. here. I could almost use a second studio light over here to the left. But yeah, not a bad. I understand we might have a thunder shower sometime during the noon hour or something like that. But overall, another spectacular summer day. God, it was hot. Yesterday, it seemed hotter than recent days. I don't know. Maybe it was just me, but kind of the heat got to me. I was like, oh God, I'm done with this heat. I know we shouldn't complain because soon enough it will be February, right? Soon enough it will be February. Hey, we have a great show for you today. Coming up, really excited about today's show. We're going to talk about LineGate, drunk state rep. Is there a Zohran in Massachusetts that we don't know about yet? And a number of Beacon Hill tidbits we also have coming to you. By the way, I did a podcast interview yesterday because, as you know, I've been tracking the Chinese organized crime here in Massachusetts, especially their money laundering, and did an interview. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it yet. I don't know if I'm allowed to say or leak the details. So just to let you know that later this morning, from what I understand, that podcast will be out and we'll post it up to the X account. Really excited about this. Had a lot of fun doing this interview. And I think it's like a 25-minute or 20-minute podcast about illegal Chinese organized crime, money laundering, and marijuana grows in mostly Massachusetts. And also, there's whenever you talk about Massachusetts, you're talking about New York and actually worldwide, plus our neighbor to the north, Maine, not Canada, Maine. So excited about that. That will come out on my account later this morning. Very excited about that. But I don't want to spill the beans. I'm just going to tease it. Is that what they call it in the show business? Just going to tease it. By the way, you were broadcasting to you from the Jack Gately Real Estate Studios. I got a lot of questions about like, Jack, are you making any money doing this? Not directly. Like there's nobody like writing me a check or anything. I would only make any money if you decided to buy or sell a house with me. So, hey, yeah, if you want to help me out. Otherwise, like how much I make from X or whatever, like less than $100. Like it's a joke. Like and if you subtract the opportunity cost of what else I could be doing, right? Yeah, there's that. So it's actually a lot. How do I want to say this? It's not a revenue stream. It's a hobby. Yeah, I think we should call it a hobby. But I feel so compelled to host the show and to make these videos when I'm blessed to have a business that allows me the freedom to do that. But that business only operates so much if you can support me. So if you know a house or want to buy or sell somewhere in Massachusetts, hit me up. Or if you want to join our real estate agency, you can do that as well. Or take our real estate class to become a real estate salesperson, broker, or even your continuing education. You can find all those links over at jackgately.com, jackgately.com. All right, let's get into it. A very serious issue. We're going to try to start what I would hope to have been kind of a lighthearted topic, but it really isn't. Over in Newton, let's start with this story over in Newton. Oh, my face is below. Oh, that's all right.
Office says someone took a fresh paint job too far and will now be summoned to court. That's because they painted over the double yellow road markings with the stripes of the Italian flag instead of doing it off to the side of the markings or in a designated area.
How dare they? How dare they paint the road another color? Who would have done that? Who in the last couple of years would have painted a road a different color? I don't know. But if you're not aware, wrong button. If you're not aware, there we go. That's better. If you're not aware, this stretch of Adams Street in Newton has had the Italian flag effectively as its stripe down the middle for, I don't know, decades. This is in Nonantum, I think is how you say it. It's in Newton, Adams Street in Newton. For decades, this small stretch of Adams Street has had effectively the Italian tricolor as the dividing line between the left lane and the right lane, the two directions in the street, for literally decades. But recently, Mayor Fuller has decided to paint over that and make it yellow. And she's done this at a really also bad time, theoretically, because she has, or the city of Newton has the upcoming Italian Fest, which actually is, I think, right now, actually, in Newton. So it's not like she could have waited until after the festival. That would have been slightly better timing, but it's safety. She had to paint it yellow for safety because all these years it's been unsafe. It's been, have you ever heard any story? Well, the lines are red, green, and white. It's unsafe. No, all of a sudden she decided it was unsafe. All right, back to BZ's story here.
The community has been in an uproar for weeks over the removal of the Italian heritage symbol in Nonantum. Many people demanded the lines be replaced before the St. Mary of Carmen Festa, which began tonight. The mayor released a list of ways that neighbors could restore the colors without damaging the yellow lines, which she insisted were installed for safety reasons. One person, though, is now accused of defacing public property.
So she actually had someone arrested for painting the lines back to what they belong, which is the Italian tricolor. So, like, you can't make this up. Let's just say that there could be a double standard in Newton, because if those lines had been, I don't know, pink, white, and purple, and the mayor turned them yellow for safety, there would have been a riot. And by the end of the day, they would have been painted back to pink, white, and purple. And either the mayor would have had a choice to actually go out there and paint them back herself or resign, right? And I'm not saying that, like, let's just talk about the pride crosswalks for a second. I know, like, I could care less about the multicolored, occasional multicolored crosswalk. Like, I got bigger fish to fry. If you want to paint a crosswalk multicolors, yeah, whatever. Okay, go ahead. I don't really care about that. But don't tell me it's a safety issue. It's not. Is a pride crosswalk safer or less safe than a regular zebra crossing, as the English like to say? Probably not. There's probably no difference at all. And there was probably no difference at all with the Italian 2 line or 3 lines down Adams Street. Made no difference. Wasn't safer, wasn't less safe. Yellow, green, red, white. It was a line. You knew not to cross it. People aren't dumb. It's been literally decades that it's been on the street. It's never, ever, 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 ever been raised as a security concern. And so now, Newton it's kind of the epicenter of political. I mean, you could just go on your phone if you wanted to and just Google Newton diversity. I mean, there's never an end to the insanity of political correctness out of Newton. I mean, we won't list the headlines, but it never ends. But understand that if you're an Italian American, that doesn't apply to you, and that we're going to change your symbol, which you had on the street for decades. We're going to change it back to the safer yellow line. And then if you try to paint it over, we're going to send you to jail, or at least charge you with a crime. So this next story is also just like, you can't believe it. We're going to do a little bit of immigrant crime here. See if we can bring this story up on the screen. Here we go. Here,
West investigative reporter Ted Daniel first told you about Andre Tiasho Lucas in May. Ted picks up the story on the Money Trail.
Lucas was a fugitive who was quietly living with his wife on Cape Cod. She ran a licensed daycare out of their Hyannis home. Records show she collected more than $100,000 from the state while keeping him a secret. Man, we just wanted to ask you about your daycare.
A lot has changed for Francielle Nunez since ICE arrested her husband. She's lost her home daycare license and all the money that came with it.
This says the husband had been dating a 13-year-old when he was 22.
Records requested by 25 Investigates reveal Nunez received $43,000 for rent and other expenses and $65,000 in child care financial assistance from EEC, the Department of Early Education and Care.
We are making it easier to apply for and get benefits.
The money began flowing almost immediately after Nunez received her daycare license in 2022.
So it appears that the criteria for her receiving this money was the fact that she was a licensed daycare operator.
Absolutely.
Kali Fontanilla is a former educator and a senior fellow at the Capital Research Center, a right-leaning Washington, D.C. think tank.
All you need is a tax ID number and meet the requirements of having a daycare, which don't include having a social security number or being a legal citizen.
According to an EEC investigation report,
why would you need a social security number? And why would you want to make sure that your husband was not a convicted Brazilian rapist, child rapist?
Nunez failed to disclose that her husband, Andre Tiago Lucas, lived with her and their children. She was afraid the husband's background check would not be approved.
You think? Thank you, Maura. Another thank you, Maura, right there. It never, ever, ever stops, does it? And while we're talking about illegal immigrant crime, just for a second, did you see this horrific accident? I don't even want to call it an accident. Tragedy. Illegal immigrant driver charged with the slamming Connecticut state troopers. 2 Connecticut state troopers. Look at those cruisers. They are destroyed. Well, that cruiser is destroyed. I think that's the single family or private vehicle off to the left. 18-year-old who was arrested and charged for slamming into 2 Connecticut state troopers on Thursday is an illegal alien from Ecuador. Color me surprised. You can't make this stuff up. It's unbelievable. And then while we are talking about illegal immigrant crime, did you happen to mention or notice that 5 Iranians were detained in a small town in upstate New York, Moores Forks, wherever that happens to be? 5 Iranians and 2 Uzbekistanians, is that how you say that? Were in a minivan, all of whom I think previously tried to enter the United States, all detained pending approval. They're sending sleeper cells to the United States. Maybe they are. I don't know. Like, if you're a sleeper cell, do you cross the border all at once in the same minivan? I don't think so. I think you're smart enough to cross separately, but who really knows? This story, and by this story, I mean the fact that we have all of these crimes. They should never occur. Those Connecticut state troopers should be continuing to drive down the highway now, having never been in an accident. Oh, Jack, how would that be? Because this 18-year-old man, who Maura would probably invite to the State House, this 18-year-old man should never be here. Well, immigrants commit crime at a much lower rate than regular Americans. Illegal immigrants, the crime rate for illegal immigrants should be 0. The incidence of illegal immigrant crime should be 0. Every single one of these things should never have happened, ever. Never should have happened. And, to put up with it, it's just outrageous. By the way, great to have you here today. Let's see if we have any comments. Good morning. Happy Thursday, is it right? Well, thank you, Angry Survivor and Ron Roy, for reposting our stream today. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for doing that. I don't ask people to do that, but it's become a thing now. So thank you. Appreciate it. I'm grateful for you. Thank you, both of you, for doing that. Thank you very much. Let's talk about our drunken state reps. Excuse me. That's unfair, Jack. Let's talk about the most recent drunken state rep. Let's put it that way. So if you haven't seen this story, let's see if we bring it up here for you here. It This is just pure gold. Here we
Jennifer,
go.
the charges against State Rep John Lawn include OUI and leaving the scene of an accident resulting in property damage. Court records show that Lawn was arrested.
Look at the damage on this vehicle. I mean, he looks like he hit the wall at Darlington. Being a NASCAR driver, that means fan. That means something. But look at that wheel is toast. He's going to have to go behind the pit wall and bring it back to the garage if he wants to finish this race and put some more laps on. That the whole axle thing, that would be the right front, is toast.
Early yesterday morning near the State House, the Watertown Democrat is accused of smashing his SUV into a parked truck on Hancock Street. A witness who does not want to be identified tells us he saw the crash and...
I don't know why somebody, whether it's Channel 5 or whether it's the police or whatever, somebody obscured the state rep's license plate, which I just think is not necessary, right? Just tell the truth. But it's clear they obscured his license plate for probably his protection. By the way, he's driving a Yukon, a GMC Yukon, which also makes him a climate criminal, right? Somewhere Monica Tibbet Nuts is extremely happy because a giant GMC Yukon collided with a Toyota Tundra pickup, which is also a very large pickup. So somewhere she's very happy. She's reading this story and she's saying to herself, great, two giant vehicles off the road. She's calling this a win. Monica Tibbet Nuts is calling this a win.
Followed Lawn as he drove away.
We swerved into the car, side-swiped it, but it completely messed up the side of the vehicle. More damage came from the driver of the vehicle continuing to drive on the tire, which was already very messed up.
Very messed up. The tire was very messed up. So it just so happens that this accident occurred out the window of what used to be my office at the State House a long time ago. And I used to park my car on Hancock Street on the other side. You can see the Toyota Tundra here. And back in the day, employee parking was on the left-hand side of Hancock Street. So I parked my car on Hancock Street many times. Many times. Plus, I used to live in this neighborhood just like 2 blocks away when I worked at the State House. So this is a street I'm extremely familiar with, having literally it's out my office window. I parked my car in this street and I lived around the corner. So when I saw this story, let me just pull this up for you. I was like, he did what? He did what? What happened here? Because this might be a little bit difficult to demonstrate with Google Maps. But hold on, let me see if I can get that. There we go. That's better. This might be a little bit difficult to demonstrate with Google Maps. But the accident occurred here where my cursor is, right here on the side of the State House, right there on Hancock Street. This state rep, after you saw the tire bent like that, didn't you? He then continued on after smacking into the Toyota Tundra, drove up where he would have had to take a right onto Mount Vernon Street. Then he had to take a left onto Joy Street and then a left onto Beacon, passing across the front of the State House. And then he got arrested here over by the 21st Amendment. Maybe he was going back to the bar. I don't know. But over by the corner of what is that? The Boston Bar Association, right there at the corner of Beacon and Bowdoin. That's where he had to make several turns in order to get over to that spot where he was eventually arrested. How drunk must he have been to be able to have driven a car that distance with that many turns? You can't even imagine how difficult it must have been to turn the steering wheel on those tight Beacon Hill streets. These are not big sweeping corners. These are tight Beacon Hill streets. He must have been bombed out of his mind. By the way, was unable to complete the sobriety test. And from what I understand, unable to do that, unable to give a sample, I guess, at the Nashua Street Jail. So we'll see where this goes. The court date is today. His first appearance will be today. But remember, he's a state rep. He's a state rep. I'm a state rep, said John Lawn, 56-year-old Democrat, represents the 10th Middlesex District. I am a state. Don't you know who I am? Don't you know who I am? And now he's issued a statement. I deeply regret and take full responsibility. What happened was completely unacceptable. I make no excuses. Now, good job on both Channel 5. See, this is where he was arrested here at the corner of Beacon and Bowdoin, having gotten in the accident on the exact opposite end of the State House. Good job on Channel 5 for first discovering this, and for the Herald for this pretty detailed article here. He claims he was leaving an event at the State House, but the last scheduled event, according to the event schedule, was a legislative committee for the public hearing in the Gardner Auditorium, which was sponsored by Mr. Lawn himself. And that was from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So he was in the Gardner Auditorium. Maybe, which is actually, he got arrested outside the Gardner. Maybe he was just driving. Maybe he thought the hearing was still going on at 1:45 a.m. So he had this day-long hearing, which must have really taken the beating on him. And I don't know, like, decided to stay at the State House at his desk and pound a couple of whiskey. I don't know. But if that ended at 5, or even if it ended at 6, how do you get out of the One Ashburton garage, head up Dern, take a left onto Hancock, smack into a Toyota Tundra, and then take a couple of other turns at 1:45 a.m.? Right? What his whereabouts were between when the hearing ended to 1:45 a.m., those are really interesting questions, right? Was he at a bar? Was he at his desk drinking in the office? Right? Oh, those are great questions. I hope that there's still a reporter out there that digs into that. That'll be really super interesting. Really super interesting. By the way, thank you so much for the support on this story the other day. Thank you, Alex, and many, many others. I was just astounded to read that the case against the Fall River Assisted Living owner had been dropped, and all the news reports, except apparently the Globe, we'll give them credit, didn't want to mention which prosecutor it was, but it ended up to be Maura Healey. And many of you helped spread the news on that. Thank you so much. Following up about that, I read this post here from Megan Smith, who works at GBH, I believe. And she said many people in the Gabriel House in Fall River used wheelchairs and mobility devices and had a hard time evacuating the fire, which seems self-evident when you watch the film. Are our cities ready to help disabled and older folks when emergencies happen? And then this account here, the Disabled Dem account, the regulations which the Massachusetts Attorney General is allegedly working on regarding assisted living facilities in Massachusetts is a page from October 2024 with a broken dead link for public comment. I think this tells you how much the state really cares about this issue. And I was like, that's a cheap shot. It cannot be that the Attorney General has issued a press release in October of 2025 where she is seeking community feedback to inform drafting of assisted living residences regulations. It cannot be that when you click on the link to submit your public comment, it cannot be that the link doesn't work. She would never allow that to happen. And because this is such an important issue to AG Joy, she would never allow it to not work. Error. It looks like we couldn't find the form with that URL. Please double check the URL. Okay, well, let's scroll down Maybe she posted the URL a different. Oh, here it is here. Those who wish to provide feedback on the creation of the regulations can do so through an online form, which can be found here. I guess it can't be found there either. This project is being handled by the Elder Justice Unit because it's so important to her. And we have a quote from Robin Lipson and Senator Moore and John Ford and all these people. But the actual link to submit your public comment, your community feedback, it doesn't work. And so, yes, for the win, Disabled Dem, I do think that tells you how much the state really cares about this issue. On that, we agree. That literally the form where they're seeking public comment doesn't even work. More Beacon Hill tidbits while we're at it. Mass House votes to expand safeguards for abortion and gender-affirming care. In Massachusetts, we needed more safeguards for these two issues. Aren't Massachusetts like the absolute like most safeguarded abortion state in the like world? Aren't we the most gender affirming friendly jurisdiction like in the world? And we needed more safeguards. This is what Democrats. This is the priority of Democrats on Beacon Hill with their supermajority. This is what needs to happen, according to Democrats, in a state which is the most abortion friendly. In fact, I would not only call it abortion friendly. It's how do I want to say that? Pro-abortion, in the most pro-abortion state or jurisdiction in the world. We need more safeguards, according to Democrats. In the most gender-affirming friendly jurisdiction in the world, we need more gender-affirming safeguards, according to Democrats. Priorities tell us a lot, don't they? For sure. No doubt about it. And another last Beacon Hill tidbit here from Erin Horowitz, which is one of my favorite reads on Twitter or X. I'm sympathetic as I am to this idea. I genuinely don't understand how this will be enforced over time. Like, are convenience stores of the future going to card 40-year-olds to see if they were born after 2006 or before 2006? Massachusetts lawmakers weigh a statewide age-based nicotine ban. And here's the thing, Evan. I'll just bring this back up because I think it's important. Here's the thing, Evan. This will probably pass at some point. I know we've had a couple of localities or municipalities pass a similar type of situation. And eventually, it's Massachusetts. They have the supermajority. This will probably pass in Massachusetts. And like someone said to me the other day, yesterday, in fact, the legalization of the marijuana in Massachusetts is a law written in someone's mind with incredible naivete, believing that everyone acts as an angel, was their phrase. And this law here, if you generationally ban tobacco, what you're going to do is create an opportunity for black market tobacco. I mean, it's just like writ large. I mean, this is just insanely stupid because only law-abiding people are going to obey this law. And there's going to be a huge business opportunity for people to bring in illegal tobacco and sell it to underage people, meaning under 30 or under 40. So you're going to have a bunch of people, 25, 28, 42, not 42, but 32, 37. You're going to have a generation of people, Evan, who are buying illegal tobacco. And along with that, you have a whole mess of crime. It's going to be the whole illegal marijuana thing over and over again. The legal marijuana thing exists because legal weed is priced way up here. Once you add in all the compliance, regulations, and taxes, legal weed is here. But illegal weed, which doesn't have to worry about the compliance and the regulations and the taxes, it more accurately reflects the cost of production, which is way down here. So illegal weed is undercutting legal weed in a big way. And if you think that you're supporting legal weed, which the vast majority of you, even my viewers, voted for. I didn't, but the vast majority of people in Massachusetts, if you want to go, if you're the 43-year-old mom from Hingham and you want to go break bad and hit the dispensary on a Friday afternoon so that you can have a big weekend, and you want to be able to do that, understand the ability of that dispensary to stay in business depends upon crushing the Chinese organized crime that's taking advantage of the price differential that is in the marketplace. So you're right. The law was designed and assumed that everyone would act as an angel, as my friend said yesterday. That's just not true. That, as is so many policies, Evan, so many policies by the Democrats, they ignore effective basic economics and human nature. They ignore basic economics and human nature time after time again. Another one more Beacon Hill tidbit. According to an email obtained by the Globe, State House leaders announced they are freezing hiring, citing Orange Man bad. Of course, Orange Man bad. Right. It's never their fault. It's always Orange Man bad. Hiring freeze on Beacon Hill. Let's see if we have a comment here. Angry Survivor says, side note, can I get a hoorah for Godspeed to my son Matthew, who's on his way to Paris Island for the Marine Boot Camp? All right. Well, yes. Way to go, Matthew. Thank you, Matthew, for serving our country. And go get him down at Paris Island Boot Camp, Marine Boot Camp. Ooh, in the summertime. Ooh, that's got to be hot. That's got to be really hot. When I was first reading this and I saw the word Paris, I thought he may have been going to Paris, France, like Maury Healy. But no, he's going to Paris Island. And, well, thank you, Matthew. And go get him. Appreciate your service to our country. Thank you. Very, very, very nice of you. And we have a nice Marine mom, or soon to be Marine mom, Angry Survivor. Great to have you on the show and commenting. Mass Fiscal is out with, and of course, yet another great video highlighting Maura's hypocrisy. As you know, we're I don't want to say celebrating, but we're acknowledging the year anniversary of the blade disaster on Nantucket. And, well, this is how Maura handles it.
To Alicia Barton.
On Tuesday, Political Massachusetts Playbook reporter Kelly Garrity reported that lawyers and energy executives are hosting a Clean Energy Leaders for Maura fundraiser Thursday in Boston. The event will be...
Oh, I must have missed my invite. Clean Energy Leaders for Maura. In other words, this is how, if Duncan Burns was here to describe it, this is how the money laundering scheme works. You get a bunch of nuts who try to move government money to nonprofits and to contractors for giant state contracts, tax breaks, the whole thing. And then eventually some of that money has to flow back to the politician who made it happen. And that's today, right? So, you know, everyone's got to wet their beak, so to speak. And today, Maura gets to haul in cash because she's making it happen for the alternative energy, clean energy leaders.
Be held just days after the one-year anniversary of the offshore wind disaster off the coast of Nantucket involving the Vineyard Wind Project. According to Garrity, one of the hosts for the fundraiser is Alicia Barton, CEO of Vineyard Offshore, which was founded by the same team that established Vineyard Wind, the company involved in last year's disaster. We spoke with Nantucket residents and activists who are fighting these offshore wind projects, which are being aided by your tax dollars.
It's green for the green. It's not clean. It's not clean. Green for the clean. Oh, yeah, it's all about the green, isn't it, Mass Fiscal? No doubt about it. Ron says illegal grow houses throughout the communities are more prevalent than the public realizes. That is probably true. I know that out in Western Massachusetts, we just recently started to try to make a database based upon court documents and media reports. And almost all of the illegal marijuana grow houses that we located in Massachusetts were out in the western part of the state, Greater Springfield general area, plus north of that out in the Northampton kind of Happy Valley-ish section. And unlike Maine, for instance, there is no central registry. So almost every single one of these houses have upgraded electrical service, the type of electrical service that you would get at like a small strip mall rather than a regular house. House electrical service just isn't enough. So you have to get like at least twice the type of electricity, which they call an entrance. But aside from that, in Maine, there's a state database for that, which helps track it down. In Massachusetts, there is no state database, so you have to check 351 cities and towns, which is like almost impossible. So we're probably going to start to check in some of the hotbed locations for some of these existing grow houses, which are highly likely out there for sure. Thank you, Ron, for that. Drew Klein, the famous New Hampshire political guy. Did I kick the camera? Drew Klein fact checks the city of Worcester. After a recent closure of 2 local grocery stores, the Worcester City Council passed a bill last night ordering the city to study creative solutions like Zohran's municipal-owned grocery store idea. This is Nick from WBUR, who even by covering this insanity, BUR effectively endorses it, right? Then Drew Klein gets on Bing or Google Maps or whatever this is and Googles around Worcester how many other grocery stores already exist. There's boatloads of grocery stores: Shaw's, Aldi, Whole Foods, Big Y, Price Right, Walmart, Stop and Shop, on Bing, Market Basket. There's a Price Chopper. There's a lot of grocery stores. And because 2 went out of business, that does not mean you should now start a government grocery store. So Drew Klein for the win. Excellent point right there. Let's just see here. Hold on a quick second. Gonna click that button here. And yeah, that and that. There we go here. If you'd like to call into the show, you can do that now, actually. You can do that now, I think. Yes, you can. You can do that now. I am going to put the phone number on the screen. If you'd like to call into the show, we'd love to have you on the show. 617-751-1460. And while we're talking about Zohran really quickly, by the way, great post by Drew Klein, just fact checking them in real time. God, I hate that phrase, real time. Like, is there any other type of time? Right? I guess like there's Back to the Future time or, Salvador Dali time. But otherwise all time is real, right? Einstein time. But typically on your regular daily basis, time is time. And not only it's real, it's spectacular. So about Zohran, because, he's making a big splash, of course. And this is my take on Zohran, which I kind of rephrased again. You've heard me say that he's very much like Trump. And yesterday I was watching a podcast with Barry Weiss from the Free Press, and they were referring to him as the inverse of Trump, which I think is a good take. He's effectively the inverse of Trump. He's really not that much different than Trump from a mechanical point of view as a candidate, politically, obviously polar opposites. And his successful campaign is not a one-off sudden thing. It's the result of a trend that's been happening on social media for quite some time, and it's called the TikTokification. And the TikTokification of social media effectively meant this. Previously to the TikTokification, in order to have your content seen, you had to have developed a following of a lot of people following your account. Now, because of TikTok over the last, say, several years, we'll call it 4 years. Now you can start an account today with 0 followers. And if you have exceptional content that the algorithm loves, you can get amazing exposure, distribution, as they call it, for your content with very few followers. Because creative, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say, is the variable to success. You see, up until like 3 years ago, creative was a contributor to your success, but how many followers you had from legacy platforms still mattered. It matters a lot less, and Zohran is just simply an exhibit in a transformation along the way. And when you apply this to politics, what it means is that people like Zohran can get on TikTok and Instagram and all the platform, even this platform, and they can start to get traction for their message if their content is exceptional. So it means that your followers are not as important, but your content is even more important. So a little bit of a seesaw effect here, where the importance of content goes up and the number of followers goes down. If we apply this to politics, what it means is that what's changing here? The importance of content goes up, and as the importance of content goes up, what declines? What is the incumbent or the equivalent? What is the equivalent of follower count in politics? Incumbency, money, name recognition. So as the variable becomes content and message, what becomes less important down here is money, name recognition, and what was the third thing I mentioned? What was that third thing I mentioned? Donations, name recognition, and incumbency. Let me say that again. What becomes less important are donations, name recognition, and incumbency. And this is a trend, that was mostly driven by the TikTokification, where TikTok first said, no, we're going to just show you what you like. It doesn't matter who created it. As long as you like it, we will show it to you. It doesn't matter how many followers they had. And when you apply this to politics, eventually you get to a person like Zohran, who won, having been massively outspent, who had basically no name recognition, versus Cuomo, wasn't an incumbent, versus Cuomo. I understand Cuomo's a crappy candidate. I get that. And there will be some hits and misses on this. But I was wondering to myself, because some of you have seen the guy out in Minnesota who's running for mayor. He's a Zohran acolyte, I guess you could say. The Somali guy out there in Minneapolis running for mayor. Most of the people that are going to apply Zohran tactics in elections in 2025 and in 2026 are going to be Democrats. That's a big mistake, because so many conservatives are looking at Zohran and they're appalled, as you should be, by the policies. But you should be incredibly interested in applying the exact same strategies to your campaign as a conservative. Because, again, the difference between Zohran and Trump, there's not much of a difference. Mechanically, they're both exceptional on social media. Trump more by the written word, Zohran more by video. So if you're a conservative running for office, you should look at the model of campaign that Zohran ran. And it doesn't matter if you're not well financed. It doesn't matter if nobody knows your name. It doesn't matter if you're not an incumbent. If you have talent, or you can teach yourself to make videos like Zohran with a conservative message, you very well might win. You have a much better shot at winning than ever before, because the algorithms are going to reward people that create exceptional content. Most of people who are going to follow this path are going to be Democrats because Zohran's on that end of the spectrum, right? But there will be some savvy conservatives who follow this strategy with a different message, and they can also be winners all across the country. Here in Massachusetts, I think there'll be a lot of people who run a Zohran type campaign. And I think one person that's running a Zohran type campaign right now is this guy, Patrick Roth. Is that how you say it? Patrick Roth. He's running for Congress against Stephen Lynch. And he had an exceptional announcement video. This is maybe the best announcement video I've seen recently, we'll just say. We'll play a quick, we're not going to play all 2 minutes of it. We'll play a quick clip. Just check out this announcement. It's very good.
Growth. I'm running for Congress in the Massachusetts 8th District. I'm running because everything is on the line right now with Trump in the White House. And we've got to have people who are ready to go down there and fight for us and stick up for us and defend our democracy. And I'm running because of my background and my story too. You know, my mom was born in Brockton and grew up partly in Braintree, raised by a single mom.
Handheld, close up, bokeh, subcaptions or titles or whatever they call those things.
And she was waiting tables on the Cape in the 70s when she first heard that IBM was hiring women, you know, really for the first time. And she met my dad there, who just gotten out of...
Super relatable. Is he in a blue blazer with the tie? No, he's in a shirt with the white t-shirt underneath. Really, really super relatable. More from Patrick Roth.
Hi, guys. So I want to talk for just a second or two about leadership here. And I mean, like what that looks like in DC right now and what it doesn't look like. And I guess this is prompted by Congressman Lynch's decision to join a very small number of other
just walking down the street, talking into the camera, keeping it real. Here he is again.
Hey guys, so we are through our first quarter, which is an arbitrary FEC thing that doesn't really matter, but is something that if you're in politics, you pay attention to. Look, I don't love campaign finance. I think we've got to completely gut this system and make it a lot easier.
Super casual. He's got some more videos like this. By the way, I saw a video from Brian Shortsleeve the other day about sharks and electric bills. I thought that was pretty good. But, you know, so far, if I had to vote, I would vote for Patrick Roth as being kind of a Zohran wannabe. And he's doing a pretty good job of it because that is a strategy to, how do I want to say this? Over-index, to use a Gary Vaynerchuk term, on your money, on your incumbency, on your name recognition. That is the culmination of this trend that it doesn't matter how many followers you have. Inversely, it doesn't might not matter how many dollars you have either. If you decide to try to take out some lumbering old incumbent and you're a Republican, I would run that type of campaign plus knock doors, especially if you're running for like a local office like state rep or something like that. All right, let's see if we have any more comments. Getting hot in here already. Somebody said it's Miller time. I'm not sure what that means, but okay. I don't know what that means. If you say so, it's bullet time. Well, I have an incredibly busy day in real estate. Please make me busier by calling me up and let me sell your house or help you buy one. In the meantime, we'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. And sometime this morning, we'll be posting up that interview that we did yesterday. All right, talk to you later. Have a great day.